Hello, humans. It's Rob here with Not a Robot Podcast's DC Comics Review Show number 149, the world's greatest comic show about the world's greatest superheroes. And with me, as always, is Brandon.
Hello, everybody. Broadcasting live from the planet Ran.
Ooh. Got there by a Zeta beam, did you? Or was it Space Cappy?
I'd rather not say. I had to make some deals.
Either way, it's some incredible fucking Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'll say it's that intergalactic Wi-Fi, intergalactic coverage plan.
Brought to you by the Beastie Boys.
Exactly.
And you heard his jokes already, Josh.
Yeah, you know what? I had other ones loaded, but I'll let that one go. It's a free one. I'll take it. Howdy, everybody.
That was a good one. I like that. I love the Beastie Boys, so I'll take that for sure. All right, we are here every week, as you know, talking about comics, DC Comics specifically, or anything else that might interest us in the news. And as for this week, we got a lot of books to look at. Detective Comics 1072 has 2 stories, and Powergirl Special number 1 has 2 stories, and that's it.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Well, except over on our bonus show where we'll be having a couple of guest hosts over there doing the Pride book for our special humans that donate to us for our little bonus shows.
And I'm looking forward to that. I still haven't had a chance to go through the Pride issue completely yet. I've just been so freaking busy this week. And Zelda. That's
and Zelda.
And Zelda.
What are you gonna do? There's so much Zelda.
There's
so little time.
Exactly. So
there was also Icon versus Hardware number 3. That book keeps on getting better. And I mean, I'll say it every time a Milestone book comes out. If you're not buying Milestone, you're buying books you could be spending money better on. You could be better spending money on. I don't know if I said that right, but you know what I meant.
You're better off spending money on Milestone, I think, is what Josh is trying to say.
More than half the books that are being put out, outside of DC.
I've seen the odd page here and there of Icon versus Hardware, and it's just blowing my mind. Just a couple of story beats. I've been spoiled completely on some of the story beats, but it looks really cool. And I can't wait to get into that.
It's good stuff. Go all the way back to all of the issue ones. I'm serious. You will enjoy the whole ride, like everything coming together. It's awesome. Super good. Mm-hmm. Super duper good.
Super. All right. Well, apart from that, super duper. What's going on in your necks of the woods? Sound like Squirrely Dan for a second there.
Well, that's what I appreciates about you.
Oh, is that what you appreciates about me?
Well,
open question.
Yeah, open question. I don't know.
Open question.
I don't want to go first. All right. Well, mine's kind of nuts. My personal stuff. I guess up front in the industry news. Image has decided to completely jump ship from Diamond Distributing and is going over to Lunar, which is going to, I mean, that's got to be the nail in the coffin for Diamond, man. I mean, what else could be keeping them afloat?
Yeah.
Now, Brandon, do you have any ideas as far as that goes? Like, what could keep
the
Diamond's
name
doors
of the
open?
game is hypocrisy. Because, and it's funny, I'd kind of forgotten about this, but 3 years ago when DC switched to Lunar, Eric Stevenson, who was one of the Image, not founders, but he's what's the name? He's basically like on the Image board, wrote a scathing letter calling DC like insane and sociopathic for switching over to Lunar in the middle of the pandemic, which admittedly was not the best time. But everyone was just up in arms saying Stevenson was totally kissing Diamond's ass. So I find it a little bit hilarious that 3 years later, Stevenson is now saying, "Oh, we're so excited to start this new relationship with Lunar distribution and this and that." When just 3 years earlier he was ripping them to shreds for being opportunists and money grubbing whores, essentially. But I had completely forgotten about that until I guess sometime in 2020. I must have been bored out of my mind. I left a comment about that whole situation, and someone like 3 years later liked it, and I got an alert in my inbox like, "Oh,
wow.
Do you remember this?" And then I was like, "Oh, wow, that is strangely timely." But I don't know.
Yeah, really.
I mean, honestly, the only thing that's going to change is, the image books will come on Tuesday, because that's generally, well, they will
I read that too, for sure.
They will be opened on Tuesday. They will likely come earlier. If I don't want to say too much, but let's just say that usually with Lunar, you don't get the books on Tuesday. They come earlier than that. But yeah, that's probably the only thing that will change. And most stores don't put out all their books on Tuesday. They just wait until Wednesday, even when the DCs or others come earlier. So I imagine some stores are still going to obey that. But it's probably just going to be the biggest change, that the on sale date will change.
That's just,
you'll probably be digitally as well too, which, I mean, I guess you get your image books a day early.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly interesting. I don't even know what to think about it. There's got to be something that Lunar is doing better. Like, it's a better price or what's better shipping? Who knows? I don't know.
Well, slightly better price, guaranteed distribution, like Brandon has kind of slightly hinted at, is that Lunar makes sure that product gets there on time, guaranteed. And that means they literally have given themselves at least a week's worth of leeway if any kind of shipping hiccup happens. Whereas Diamond was always like balls against the wall, tooth and nail, skin of their teeth, meeting that deadline.
Yeah. Well, the biggest problem that retailers have had in the past, and I'm not a retailer, so I can't speak objectively, but at least from some of the shop owners that I've talked to, the problems that they've always had were that Diamond's packaging was just fucking terrible. So you would get books that would show up and they would be like bent and torn. So that's why you walk to the shelf and it's like, it looks like it's a used copy, but you're still paying cover price for it. Whereas with Lunar,
I don't know if it's an additional cost.
Shop. Yeah, as with Lunar, the way they package them, I think they have like some kind of protection within the box that basically keeps them a lot safer, which is generally why when the DC show up, they're in much better condition, which is really nice. But yeah, no, it is a little like frustrating when that happens. Like, I bought a book from Dark Horse that was like, I think One More Eyes or something like that. And like the bottom corner was just torn.
Oh,
which sucks because I paid $4 for it. So
yeah, that's no good. Well, that's fair then. If Lunar's up in the game, then by all means,
and not just up in the game, but at the very least doing their job. And I mean, you know what I mean? Pushing things to the very last second as far as distribution goes is not the right kind of business model to have as a distribution company. That's just not a good business model,
Yeah. Well,
speaking of not a good business models, I'm
very curious where this is going.
Not too bad. It was just something that I saw that had gotten canceled. And while I was just about to talk about this, and now I can't remember what issue it was that it was. Maybe it was just Night Terrors #1, but the 666 scale cover. Did you guys see that? They were doing
what?
Let me drop I'm serious. This blew my mind. I had no idea that this was happening. Let me drop a link to this in the Discord real quick.
Okay, what? I'm very curious now.
DC had scheduled 1666 tiered variant cover of the Night Terror's First Blood #1 to be signed by Howard Porter and sent to all stores who ordered 666 copies or more of the book.
What?
But yeah, and it was going to be selling for between $1,000 and $2,000 each.
Holy that's really dumb. I'm just gonna come out and say it. What shop is going to buy over 600 copies? What shop is going to buy over 200 copies of it?
Well, I don't fucking Mile High Comics. What the hell is that one that's out in New York? The one over there, the giant one by Brandon. There's big comic book shops that, yeah, sure, but you're gonna get what, 5?
Yeah.
Tops. How many did they think they were gonna get?
That's
666 copies of a
Crazy.
crossover event that nobody's really excited about.
And to get a bonus copy that is worth $2,000
Potentially.
Like, that's cool to have a signed cover by Howard Porter. That's cool and all, but $2,000 right off the bat. That's potentially, that's wow, ballsy.
Very much so.
Cool, but ballsy. I don't know. I'm very torn on that one.
It's insane, is it not?
It is. See, when you were saying, I thought you said scale, and you're like 1 in 666. Like,
no.
It's like a
Yeah,
tiny comic book.
It's just the tiniest of comic books.
Is this a comic book for ants?
No, I always have trouble figuring out how to say that. The
ratio.
Cover, yeah. Like I've never heard anybody say it quite like with words. I've read it a whole shit ton, but I just don't know. Never figured out how to say it, so I just stumble my way through it, and people seem to figure it out.
All right, what do you got?
Personal news. I got the last thing that's personal news, and this part that I thought that was pretty crazy. I entered a contest here. Excuse me. Entered a contest here about 2 years ago when I bought my computer. It was a Skytech pre-built. First time I ever bought a pre-built computer, right? Wasn't happy about it, but I bought it, and it's been a great computer so far. So I open up my Amazon thing just to do some window browsing today, and I have a message from the Skytech seller that I have won the contest, and I have a $999 Amazon gift card for the purchase to go towards the purchase of a new PC.
Oh wow!
No shit.
Damn.
Yep, it's sitting in my gift card balance or whatever the hell you want to call it right now. So new computer, cool. Here I come. Well, I mean, really, for as much as $1,000 can get me, but for sure I'll be looking for refurbished stuff. I'm not above somebody else's problems.
What
about you guys? I thought so.
Yeah. Hey Brandon, what's up with you, man?
Not much. Just back home in California for a little bit before I head back to New York for the rest of the summer. I don't really have any like comic news aside from something that I think you're going to mention a little bit later. But it's been nice being home. I always get to reread some of the stuff from my collection, which is always nice. It's like I kind of forget what I have here, and then I come back home, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot you were here.
Yeah.
So that's
Did
why
you
I
read
was
it right away?
I was broadcasting live from Rand because I forgot I had there's an Adam Strange series from 2004 by Andy Diggle and Pascal Ferry. It like ties into Infinite Crisis.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
reread that this morning. It's pretty good actually. Like I didn't remember that much about it, but it was nice going back to it. The covers are so cool. So
I think I've read that. I think I remember that one being
it's
interesting.
Planet Heist, yeah. Planet Heist. What an awesome name.
Right on.
It is. I want to revisit that too now. I think I found some of those in my dad's old collection.
Oh yeah, no, it's worth your time.
Yeah.
Adam Strange is one of those characters that like you can kind of do anything. So it's fun getting to read some cool stuff there. As I'm sure you know, being one of about 15 fans of Justice League United, and also, oh my God, the death of Hawkman.
Yeah. I'm one of like 3 people that actually read it.
One of 3
Remember,
people actually read those books when it came out in 2016. My God, good times.
And I every so often
I'm tired
I'll
of
post it
Hawkman
somewhere.
dying.
I'll every so often I'll post it somewhere and I'll question the ending. Like, does anybody know if this went anywhere? And all I get is comments back saying, "What are you talking about?"
I feel like
this book I just talked about.
I feel like if you ever get the chance to write for DC and the plot thread still isn't resolved by that point, you have to finish it. You have an obligation to finish it.
Absolutely.
Since then, Hawkman has already died twice.
Yeah, but like you got to find a way to just put some closure on it for your own, for your own sanity.
Yeah,
I need some closure on the last Hawkman story with Hawkwoman, where where he was rendered human again, and I need that to come to a close. It was just kind of like bloop, left off the map and just forgotten about and never addressed again, and it pissed me off.
Sounds like that happens to Hawkman a lot.
It happens to Hawkman all the time.
Jeez.
They were on the train. Oh man, I'm having a bad memory day. But what's his name? That was also from Thanagar. Came after them with the sacrificial knife, stabbed them. Hawkwoman was there. Ah, damn it. It doesn't matter. It didn't finish anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Bastards.
Yeah. I still understand though. It was a 6-issue mini. It was booked that way. It was billed that way. It was sold that way. And yet they left it so open-ended for no fucking reason.
Who wrote it?
I don't remember. That's a good
Mark
question.
Andreyko and Aaron Lopresti did the art.
Well, then it looked good.
It did. It really did.
That was a fun read.
It was. It just like Hawkman was dead. Adam Strange was lost in some. I think he was in the bleed or something.
Yeah. Well, that did get resolved.
Like took over a planet.
Yeah. No, that the Adam Strange thing at the very. I think we talked about it, but that at the very least got resolved. That was in the Adam Strange Future Quest or Johnny Quest Hanna-Barbera tie-in, where like he was just kind of lost in the bleed. Yeah, no, seriously.
That's where it got resolved.
That's where it got resolved. And then at the end of that issue, he's back in our universe. I know, what a weird way to tie it all together. But yeah.
It really is, yeah. Because I always figured those were out of continuity.
Yeah, and I think I want to say Mark Andreyko wrote that issue, so it made sense. Like, if I can't resolve it in the miniseries, I'll just do it here, I guess.
That's
yes. Hawkman by Venditti.
It was New 52, wasn't it?
Yeah.
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 I want the end of that story. Shut up. I don't care if it was New 52.
If you like New 52 Hawkman, you like New 52. I personally didn't, but that's the thing with New 52. Everybody had the things they liked, the things they didn't.
I liked most of it. And let me tell you, the reason why I liked most of it was because it was very, very clear cut. I didn't hate anything. I was either intensely annoyed by something or I really dug it. So I always had something to fucking say about every title.
Yeah. I really liked the Justice League International from New 52, but I guess it didn't sell well because it only got 12 issues.
Yeah, there was a lot of shit that just kind of drifted off. And unfortunately, I feel like that was because the initial boom, and I mean, it's pretty obvious, the initial boom of sales from New 52 wasn't just collectors, but it was also curiosity.
Yeah.
And the fizzle kind of the interest just kind of fizzled out, and a lot of titles went by the wayside, unfortunately.
Yeah. Like when you have 52 comics a month coming out, that's a lot of money, even at $2.99 an issue.
Man, don't you miss $2.99 an issue?
Yep. Don't I ever.
I know Brendan buys a whole lot more than you or I do a week because he like buys from every publisher that's out there. But oh man, those were the days.
Speaking of other publishers, Marvel had a big release this week. And
no, I thought you weren't going to talk about it.
It's a book some people
Brandon,
find
he's talking
controversial.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be another book. It's setting you up.
Punisher number 12.
Oh, you maggot.
I am not. I was okay. We talked about it before. I was thinking I might, but then you guys convinced me not to, and I think that's a fair point. I am not going to bring up that which shall not be named comic book that everyone dislikes.
It Voldemorted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to talk about it. Punisher. A lot of controversy with the character over the past few years. Assholes co-opting the symbol and using it for their own asshole means, and completely ignoring the whole point of the character, and Marvel not knowing what to do with it. So Jason Aaron to the rescue, writes a Punisher tale, which kind of countermines all of that, and kind of not really retcons, but answers a question about his family, and just completely ruins his life to the point that he's now. I'm not even gonna spoil the ending, but like it's good. I haven't been in love with the series, but they definitely change the Punisher, and I think that was really cool to see. Like, I've not been a fan of the Punisher for a very long time, but the way it ended had me genuinely curious as to what's going to happen. I thought it was really cool. And Jason Aaron, as a class act, wrote a little one-page piece about his run at the end of the issue. I thought that was really cool. You don't often get that because this definitely has a purpose to it. I thought that was nice to see. Definitely one of the better books to come out of Marvel right now. There are better books still, but one of the better books to come out. Yeah.
Sweet. Good deal.
I don't know, man. I feel like Marvel fans these days are starving.
There was a brief moment where they had their time in the sun. Although, let's be honest, it was mostly just because of the X-Men boom in 2019. Yeah. But it's been a little slow lately. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, I may be reading 3 Marvel books right now. 4 that I can say I'm in. Oh, shit, 5. Deadpool, Ghost Rider, Daredevil, Fantastic Four, and Iron Man.
Oh shit! Iron Man, is that a new one?
Yeah, I think it's about 5 issues in now.
Yeah,
I didn't enjoy Christopher Cantwell's run. I kind of gave up on that, but this one's more interesting.
This is like what is it? Like the life and testament of Tony Stark or something.
Yeah,
I'm forgetting the name, but yeah, it's like he's dealing with the who's trying to kill him right now.
Yeah.
So it should be called "Oh Shit, Iron Man."
As Kirk would say, "Oops, all Iron Man."
Yeah.
Oops, all Iron Man.
No, I'm right there with you, man. I think at this point, I'm hanging on to Thor because I don't even know what's going on with that book right now. It's been through like 3 different writers. Captain America, and then I'm kind of curiously reading the Carnage Reigns event right now, which I know sounds like the kind of thing that I would not fucking read, but I am. It's mostly just because like I started the new Miles Morales series and it's pretty good, and they are tying into this thing, and the writer who's also doing the Carnage series, Alex Packnadell, did a book I really liked called All Against All. So I was like, oh, fuck it. I'll try this, I guess. Like, I could not care at all about Carnage, but I'll give it a shot. Why not? So it's okay. It's not great. It's like, it's a very familiar Carnage story, is all I can say, really. Like, Carnage is trying to. Story. I know. It's literally just like Carnage is trying to get more powerful so he can overthrow New York City and maybe the world. Like, that's the plot of every Carnage story, is it not?
Well, there's been one or two where it's like all about babies, but other than that, world domination.
I thought he just wanted to kill everyone.
No, he does. He always wants. I meant like rage and fury and all those other fucking symbols. Yeah, that's all I was talking about.
I don't know. Carnage is such a weird character. The only time I enjoyed Carnage,
I gobbled his ass up when he first came out during the Maximum Carnage event.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I gobbled that up. That was so good. Like mouth on the floor when I'm reading that as a little kid. Oh, wow. Like, who's this Shriek chick? Shriek, this is like, that's not even a fair advantage. What the hell?
This is a Clone Saga that's good.
Oh.
I gotta say at this point though, if we're looking at I'm bringing it up, but not to that point. As far as Spider-Man stories go, Clone Saga cannot even be in the top 5 worst stories anymore. I think there's been so many freaking bad ones. I know for many years people like Clone Saga is the worst Spider-Man story ever written, but there's been so many freaking bad ones in the last 30 years.
Well, Clone Saga, I mean, it has its bad parts, but its biggest problem is just that it's really long. Like that was the problem with a lot of those 90s events. Like they'd go on for 2 fucking years, which is funny because we complain now. We're just like, oh God, like Night Terrors is going to last 2 months. Crisis is going to last like 4 months. But can you imagine being like I mean, I can't, but Josh can probably speak to this, but just like, you're reading, say, No Man's Land, and it goes on for 2 years, and you're like, oh my God, please.
Dude.
Just let it end.
Seriously. The death of Superman. I mean, all of
that's like
the
a
different
2-year story. Yeah. So
hell yeah. What was the other one? There was a
we complain now, but we actually have it kind of nice. Like
there were like 2 big ass back-to-back X-Men stories around the same time too, and I can't remember what the hell they are. I thought one was the Phoenix story.
Dark Phoenix Saga.
Oh no,
that's the 80s.
Yeah, that's the 80s. But there was
we're
at
still
least
talking about the 90s. Oh.
Yeah, because I was still reading X-Men at that time, and I was reading a couple of different. I was reading Pitt and Max and Wildcats. Or not Wildcats. Oh shit, it doesn't matter. But anyway, I was reading comics then, like Brandon read comics now.
Yeah,
like I was outside the door waiting for it to open.
I think we can relate to that a little bit though, Brandon. Because I'm thinking the way you say that an event lasting so long, it just made me think of Rick Grayson. How that just went on way too.
That's true.
Oh my God.
That's like storylines. Yeah.
So.
But no, that I'm thinking like, because something like Nightfall or No Man's Land, for example, like that's every book in the Bat
Yeah.
family. Like you
Yeah.
literally cannot escape it. And that to me is like, oh my god, like how long is this gonna last? But yeah, no, I hear you. Like some storylines still feel like they last way longer than they should.
Yeah.
The way people tell it to me, Jason Aaron's Avengers was pretty much like that. So, you have some things that just feel like they never end. And then they finally do. And you're like, oh my God, it's been 5 years.
I know I was waiting for that to end, and then I just gave up caring about the Avengers.
Yeah. Well, actually, I guess that's another Marvel book I'm reading. And I would say check it out. The new Avengers series from Jed McKay and Sia Filia. Like the first issue is pretty good. Like it's not spectacular, but it's I'd say very formulaic Avengers, but I think it's a lot more I don't know. It feels a lot more creative than a good chunk of what Jason Aaron was doing.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Mm.
I mean, I enjoyed Punisher. Thor was all right. So
Thor, I don't know what's going on with Thor right now. They're about to relaunch the book anyway. I guess they just decided to give it to Al Ewing. Like, I don't know, fix it.
Oh, he's doing it, eh?
Yeah, no, he's relaunching Thor as the Immortal Thor. Wink, wink. Which hopefully, hopefully that'll be pretty good. Yeah.
Interesting. Horror based?
Horror? Maybe. They kind of toyed with this idea.
The lightning door?
Possibly. Yeah, they kind of toyed with this idea in one issue of Thor. I think it was Donny Cates, where he's just like, Thor has lived for so long that our lives are like small little pinpricks in his entire lifespan. Right. And they kind of didn't, like, they just mentioned it, and it's come up a couple of times, but they've never really gone into that. So I wonder if that's going to be what the whole like immortal thing is about. Like if you've lived for thousands of years as a god, and now you're kind of living amongst these humans who are just going to be a small little fraction of your immortal life. Like, what does that do to you? So hopefully it will be good. But yeah, I've never seen someone drop the ball as hard as they did with the most recent Thor run and the recent Hulk run. Oh my God.
Yeah. I like Donny Cates, but that was not good.
that was not it. I don't know what's going on. He's kind of like dropped off the map.
I was gonna ask what happened to Donny Cates. I'm still waiting for the next part for crossover.
Yeah, it's been like a year.
Yeah.
And I would really like another mini for the paybacks, please.
Look at crossover.
Yeah, Vanish. I know, can't even finish that. And like Vanish, I think Ryan Stegman has basically just stepped in as the co-writer because I don't know if he's really writing it anymore, which is why I think they've had to bring in like guest artists, even though it's their book. It's supposed to be the Venom Team's book. I don't know what's going on. It must have something going on. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Oh, hopefully it's all's okay with Donny Cates.
Yeah, hopefully.
Spending too much time on hookers and cocaine.
He's locked up in another world. All the comic books will come to life, and now he's just trapped in a prison.
Don't stay away from the bubble.
Yeah.
Stay away from the bubble.
All right. So in other comics news, I've got a couple of things. IDW has announced 2 DC titles. Oddly enough, this is kind of a headline that caught my eye. It's the artist editions, which of Neil Adams classics, including Batman Year One. And let me pull it up. There's Batman Year One and Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
Batman Year One for Neil Adams.
That's what it says. Yeah, Neil Adams classics. I don't know, but okay, I'm very confused by that. I gotta. Fuck. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I guess they're
Sorry.
just calling it Batman
Different
#1.
different things. It's David
Oh,
Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One Artist Edition and Neil Adams DC
that
Classics.
is
Okay.
so weird.
The article is written really weirdly.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right. So
I had to
yeah.
look it up because I was like, what?
It wasn't on CBR, was it?
No, it's on AIPT. Okay, no, I see. Yeah, so first two books, there's David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One Artist Edition, and then a separate book called Neil Adams Classics. And what
Gotcha.
confused me is one of the Neil Adams classics is a Batman,
Yeah.
with Ra's al Ghul, Daughter of the Demon,
Oh yes.
plus Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
Mhm.
So that looks interesting.
Yeah.
I was just surprised to see it come from IDW, but I guess they're the ones that do stuff like this. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, me neither.
Yeah, it fucking looks cool. And speaking of DC, they've announced a crossover for I guess September or October.
Oh yeah.
Spinning out of Night Terror's Batman #2, we're getting Batman and Catwoman in Batman/Catwoman: The Gotham War. Battle Lines #1 launches August 29th and then carries on in the respective books Batman 137 138 and Catwoman 57 and 58. And then there's two spin-offs. Okay, I guess one spin-off, Batman, Catwoman, Gotham War, Red Hood #1 and 2, and then Gotham War Scorched Earth #1 will be the cap to the event. And it is co-written by Chip Zdarsky and Tini Howard, so that's a hell of a team.
Yeah. It's gonna be action packed. It's gonna keep you guessing, and it'll be emotional.
Yeah. On the
I mean,
AIPT article, Chip Zdarsky is definitely teasing some stuff that has
Oh, yeah?
happened recently in his series and things that might happen during this crossover. So we'll see what's going to happen. Oh, and the Red Hood series is written by Matthew Rosenberg.
yes. That's
I guess
excellent
he's
news.
just running Red Hood right now. I'm all
Yeah,
for that.
100%, dude. Best iteration, and I mean, he's doing something with Red Hood in every issue. He's turned Red Hood away from being just the mumbly, grumbling, I want to shoot people, Robin, and turned him into a good character again. So
Yeah.
I'll take that any day of the week.
Something else interesting I didn't notice before, but that Dawn of DC advertisement page where they have those tentacles and the timeline of books coming out throughout the year. The portion
Yeah.
where we're back in February, people turned up the brightness, saw Return of the Justice League. Instead, now it's Gotham War in its place. So
Interesting.
what happened?
Uh,
Yeah.
Now paging editorial.
Maybe we'll see in December.
Well, I mean, with everything that's been going on in Alleytown, all the Orgum shit that's been going on in Detective Comics, what the hell happened in Gotham at the end of the failsafe stuff. I mean, a lot of shit is going on in Gotham right now. Calling something the Gotham War and having Batman and Catwoman, at the forefront of it fighting, each kind of leading their own two little separate armies, working together but apart from each other. That's what I would get from the title Batman and Catwoman Gotham War, is like they're trying to settle everything down, but I don't read solicits either.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about the solicit yet, so we'll find out.
Is there anything you know about Gotham War, Brandon?
Only that I'm exhausted and I hope it's better than it looks.
Yeah. I get that.
Tell me how you really feel. Shit.
I get that. It's a lot of events. I do occasionally clamor for the days with just like one-off stories and not everything led to some big turnaround event or some giant change in the air. Just Sometimes I just want a simple story, man. So
Yeah,
just wondering, okay, like this is a 2-page or a 2-issue arc. It was a fun little story, and that's it. I liked it. Okay, it was cool.
a
Well, Rob,
two-issue story, a
I know you're
four-issue
reading.
story, an eight-issue
Yeah.
story, but we don't need to have 4 issues and then followed by another 3 issues that are tied into 4 other fucking titles. And then
No,
as
and
soon as
Rob,
that
I
shit is
know.
done, rinse,
Yeah,
repeat.
I know you're reading Daredevil right now, so I know
Yeah.
you've been reading everything going on with the big battle with the hand and everything with Daredevil's army, and I'm just like, can you imagine if that had been an event book? Like it would
I
have been.
was honestly expecting it. A
I was
crossover between
so
Daredevil and
glad.
Punisher.
I know. I was so glad they didn't do that. They were just like, it's gonna be in this book. You're gonna read it every month. That's it. And I was like, thank fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Because Devil's Reign was good, but it was just like this is just an arc of Daredevil, and it very much felt like it, just with a slightly larger page count.
Yeah.
So I was so happy when they were like, okay, we're just telling it here, and when it's done, it's done. And I was like, thank you.
But it was still kind of like I would have almost preferred even just like a special issue in the middle, because they had, if you're reading both series, in within like 2 or 3 months, they had Punisher show up in Daredevil's book and Daredevil show up in Punisher's book in different costumes and at different times with different dialogue, and it almost didn't make sense. It was kind of weird because they didn't reference each other's cameos in each other's books. Like you
I
had,
hear you.
That's bad.
yeah, it was weird. As much as I enjoyed both series, it was kind of, I almost would have preferred, I get what you're saying and I completely agree, but I almost would have preferred just even like a one shot tie it all together. Especially if they're trying to meld the stories so closely. Yeah. I
Unfortunately,
might have just contradicted myself.
my problem with the events is the frequency in which they have them, and if it's going to be an event, it should have lasting consequences. I mean, it doesn't have to be as tragic as Barry Allen disappearing or Ted Cord having his head shot off, or Max Lord dying, or things like that. It doesn't have to be that big, but it should mean something. Like something should be taken from that and carrying forward, not just, okay, well, we had you we led you through all of these books over the last few months, and really we're not going to tell you, a story that does anything. Really, all we're doing is spending the next few months showing you how all these people that are writing the other books can just go, okay, well, this was explained by Infinite Frontier.
Yeah.
There's the massive events that mean nothing. Not cool, man. And as much as I couldn't stand Bruce Wayne, The Road Home, is that whole time traveling, the whole bit, I really didn't enjoy that much. At least it had a purpose, and it had effects and that lasted around. An event should have that. That's when it gets underneath my skin, and then when they're back to back to back to back, it's annoying. This is just a money grab.
Yeah, realistically, I don't know.
It's like Avatar 2.
And 3,
it's just
and
for
4,
money.
and 5.
Right. Maybe.
Maybe. I think 3 is filmed. I think they're currently filming 4 right now. Which is just wild. I think Cameron was filming 2 and 3 at the same time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. And that's why
Which
it took so
he's
long.
Probably doing 4 now too.
Yeah. It's just wild. Well, speaking of Bruce Wayne, The Long Road Home, shall we get into books?
I mean, that is what we're here for.
Yeah. All right. What do we got in honorable mentions?
Well, I had already mentioned it. Honorably so.
Shit, I guess you did. See, I
I sure did.
I forgot how few books there are this week.
There is a seriously small number of books this week.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you mentioned Icon versus Hardware and DC Pride.
Yep, sure did.
Yeah. Oddly, so Brandon, in the shops, did you see that Suicide Squad issue? Because it was posted on League of Comic Geeks.
I didn't actually, so I'm not
No.
sure.
So I
Yeah,
checked again
maybe
today, it
it got
wasn't
changed.
online. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's weird. All right, fair enough. So yeah.
So yeah,
Oh
there we
yeah.
go.
All right, so let's
Figure it out.
take her easy there, Super G. Shit. All right. So I guess my transition works a bit better. We're going to jump into Detective Comics 1072.
Indeed, we do.
With this story arc had a lot of hints towards Bruce Wayne: The Road Home, but so far it hasn't really gone back to it. But Brandon is going to fill us in on the goings on this issue.
I will indeed. This is Gotham Nocturne, Act 2, The Fall. Of course, as Rob mentioned, Detective Comics 1072. Our first story is written by Ram V with art from Yvonne Reis and Stefano Raphael, with inks from Danny Miki and also Stefano Raphael, colors from Brad Anderson and Lee Lowridge, and letters from Ariana Marr. Arzen Orcum is suiting up for war in a fun little flash forward before we get to the main story, as to how Arzen was able to in this flash forward. I'm not summarizing this well. I should have written my notes down. Is basically a flash forward, having defeated the Batman in Duel. Nice. Yes, having defeated the Batman in Duel, and is basically saying that all these things are ready to come to an end, of their final plans for Gotham are nearing their climax, and that Batman is soon to learn a lesson about the true nature of the Orgums in the city and everything else. But that's all in the future. We flash back to the past with the opening of Orgum Tower, and the Bat family is investigating several things going on. That Cassandra is in the sewers looking for the people who had been kidnapped from the Narrows. Nightwing is sort of on crowd control, looking for anything suspicious. And Batman is making his assault on the actual tower itself. While Nightwing is scoping things out, he sees some strange things going on. Some people who look a little suspicious, and he's right, as they're trying to plant some explosives. But as Nightwing quickly dispatches them, he realizes that one of them is not what he appears to be, as he morphs into the strange demon known as the Asmer. Cass is making her way through the sewers, and quickly learns that the people who had been held in cages there are no longer there, but there is a residue of some of the Asmer demons that were contained within the vials. So in all likelihood, the people who had been captured from the Narrows have been turned into Asmers. We cut over to Montoya, who is having a sort of last minute meeting with Gordon, basically kind of chiding her on what she is not doing, what she should be doing, but is not currently doing, and that is investigating the Orgums and all the mysterious things that are going on in Gotham City. And as he puts it, she really isn't asking the right questions, wink, wink. But before that can be properly explored further, we cut back to the tower where Batman is just cutting his way through Gael and the other Orgum goon whose name I'm not remembering, before making his way to, I think it's called the Oblivion Engine, or whatever device that the Orgums is sort of cooked up.
Engine.
Yeah, the Reality Engine, and basically is having a standoff with the woman who sort of has like the eyes on her face and is able to kind of manipulate people. But before Bruce can properly take her down and shut down the engine, who should show up but Arzen Orgum, bringing us very nearly to our beginning, where Arzen was triumphant over Bruce, and was sort of lecturing him on what was to come. And before he can have any kind of rallying attack, Orgum Tower explodes, and that is our cliffhanger. So yeah, should we just talk about the main story, or should I go straight into the backup?
It all come tumbling down.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I guess we can just talk about the main story. But I
I
had
mean, it
kind of
kind of all ties into one, really, Brandon. If you just want to go at all, because it's all really one
Oh
big
yeah,
ass long
okay.
story.
Well, I mean, yeah, really, the backup is just sort of kind of adding some extra flavor to the childhood of Arzen Orgum. This backup was written by Dan Waters with art from Stefano Raphael, colors from Lee Lowridge, and letters from Steve Wands. And it takes place after the death of Arzen's father. And Arzen is naturally grieving, but in kind of a strange way. He's really giving his all and trying to maintain this garden that he and his father had kept, while one of his mentors, Asim, is trying to get him to focus on his sword fighting instead. But he's really just more focused on this garden and trying to do everything that he can to make sure that this one particular tree stays alive, but it's just not working. And one day, Arzen is ambushed by some apparently members of Ra's al Ghul's League of Assassins. And before they can make their way over to Arzen, Asim gets in the way and is killed, or seemingly is stabbed rather fatally, as they sort of make their way to attack Arzen. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we can just talk about the whole thing. But the main story, things are ramping up. It's getting crazy. I'd kind of forgotten what had happened in the last issue. I think, Rob, last time we talked about it, you said things were, it kind of felt like they were being dragged out. And I think
A little bit.
this
Yeah.
issue was pretty
Yeah.
fast paced, and I was kind of starting to get that sense too, because like we've been on the Orgum thing for a while, and not that a story shouldn't take its time, but it kind of feels like it's been in the same place where they're like, okay, we're building the engine, we have plans for the city, so on and so on. We haven't really gotten to that point yet. It feels like we're
Exactly.
getting there, and this issue was definitely, I think, a little bit more kinetic than issues in the past. But this one was also really quick too, and it felt like there wasn't a lot of substance, save for some moments sort of towards the end and some moments between Montoya and Gordon. So we're getting
See,
there, but it's happening a little slower.
I feel like that's kind of like Rom V's thing, though, is like he does have this real slow, detailed way of writing, tying everything together real tight and slow and detailed. And then when something happens, it's like boom. Yeah, I feel like it was the exact same way that he wrote in Swamp Thing. It was like the action that happened, the big moments, like were kind of like a bam, and then things slowed down again. So I don't know. I guess all I'm saying is I've almost come to expect that in a Rom V book. It's
yeah,
gonna be
I
a
think
lot of waiting.
Yeah.
as I'm sure many people will agree, Batman and Swamp Thing are very different characters. So with Swamp Thing, you can kind of have issues that are a little bit more introspective and reflective on, say, the green or the nature of reality, because Swamp Thing is an elemental character. But generally speaking, in a book called Detective Comics, especially one that focuses on a superhero like Batman, you generally expect a little bit more, I don't know, progression. And at least for, like, I'm not going to say it was lacking in action, because it wasn't, because there were quite a few really cool and really fun action scenes, but it just kind of felt like it was lacking something where it's just like, okay, we're getting towards the end, but we're not quite there yet, but we're close. So I don't know. It was good.
There was
and I didn't dislike
ton
it
of the
but
way back.
yeah.
And very little of the see, and I'm just now realizing this as you're talking.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of, like back in the day, this story has been going on for a long time. And I guess I'm not fucking realizing how long it has been going on, because we've only got a little bit of happening in like this day and age, but then like 300 fucking years and now even longer of the Orgum shit. So god dang, I haven't even realized that how long it's been going on.
I think Rom V took over the same month, if not a month away from Chip Zdarsky taking over the main book, and he took over in
Yes.
125, and we're going into 136. Like he's already had 2 5-issue story arcs.
Yeah.
And Ron Von V's still telling the same story that feels like nothing has happened.
Yeah. So it's like, again, I don't necessarily mind a story that takes its time or is trying to, kind of build towards a nice payoff. But it feels like this is really, especially this issue, it just kind of felt like it was like, I don't want to say dragging its feet, but it was kind of, it felt like we know where the conclusion is, but we just got to wait a little bit to get there. That's, I don't know. It's mildly frustrating, I would say. So again, not a bad issue. Like it delivers the action. The dialogue is good for the most part, but it just feels like it's not particularly substantive, if that makes sense. So I gave the main story at least an 8 out of 10. Like good artwork, nice flow, but it needed more. It needs to be weightier. I don't think that's a word. It needs more weight so we can finally get to the
Heavier.
conclusion. Yeah, it needs to be heavier, weightier.
Yeah.
Substance.
Wait. I like that. It needs to be
Words.
Weightier. I like
weightier.
that.
Yeah. needs that. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. I totally get that. The only thing I want to debate is it feels like we're getting close to the end, which to me it doesn't. And I'm just thinking about this in theater terms, that we've had Gotham Nocturne Act 1. We're currently in Act 2. We don't know when Act 2 is going to end. What part is this in Act 2? Part 3 or part 4?
Part 3, I think. Or actually, no, it might be part 4.
It is part 4. Yeah.
Part 4. Okay. Yeah. So if it goes to like 5 or 6 parts, then we're near the end of Act 2. But
this goes into Night Terrors next month, doesn't it?
It does for 2 months, but everything goes into Night Terrors for 2 months. So I'm not going to put any weight on that. We're still going to have, if this is, opera style, then this is going to have a 3rd act. So there's going to be another 5 or 6 issues left in this story. Like we're not
assuming
as
that,
close to the end that we think we are.
Assuming that the 3rd act is not just like resolution of, all the Orgham stuff. Because that's also a possibility.
That's true.
I'm wondering if, and this is just me and doing the one thing that Brandon can't stand is like speculation. He feels like it's wasting his time. I do it naturally. And I almost feel like the 3rd act of Nocturne is going to be a big part of the Gotham War. I mentioned that before, and I think that could be where I feel like that could be where this is leading. I've been a super fan of the story, and you guys just pointed out to me it's been going on for 10 months, and I had no idea that I'd been reading this story for nearly a year.
Yeah.
Where it's grating on you guys, it's just been it started off being a little like, wow, okay, so he's going real deep and poetic with this. We'll see where this goes. And then damn near a year later, and I'm like, holy shit, it's been 10 months. That's a hell of a good sign for me. But I mean, sorry, you guys don't take it.
I'm still enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. It's just taking a long time to get to a point.
I'm hoping that this carries into current continuity, because I understand that Night Terrors is going to have shit that spills out into current continuity that comes out of it, and I'm hoping that after that, Brom V's story wouldn't be put on hold until after Gotham War. That would be insane to have that much going on and then revert back to what was going on with the Orghams. So I'm thinking that the Orghams are going to be a part of, maybe even if it's just a tiny bit of Night Terrors, and then a big part of the Gotham War. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to appreciate that as part 3. Plus you add on fucking Reyes, Raphael, and Minky, and the colors, and the fucking art, and the backup too, man. It's I've been digging the Orgham stuff since day one. I I gave Detective Comics an 8.25 this week.
Yeah, I gave it an 8.5. Like I'm still enjoying it. It looks beautiful. It's just really slow. And this feels like this issue, like Brendan mentioned it was a lot quicker, and I definitely agree. I felt it was a lot faster paced and a lot more action. So it did feel better. So it definitely got that 8.5, and it feels like a true challenge right now for Batman. Something that can truly beat the Bat yet again. Like he's had that a few times in his life, being the pinnacle of perfection. But let's face it, he didn't have enough prep time. So yeah, 8.5.
Why Batman shouldn't get prep time.
Did you score it, Brandon? Methinks Brandon stepped away for a moment.
Oh, wait, what happened?
Did you score it?
Wait, the main issue? Yeah, I give it an 8 out of 10.
Oh, okay, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Tisk, tisk.
stepped in.
Yeah.
All right.
I was just gonna.
Oh yeah,
ask
you went over
something,
the
but now I
backup.
forgot what it
Yeah.
was.
So we went over the backup. We can talk about that a little bit more. I mean, I don't know if there was anything else you felt like you really wanted to add.
Well,
that we hadn't kind of already mentioned.
Robin mentioned that he thinks that that this is going to be opera like we're going to need an act 3, and I'm basically saying there's no way that they're going to wait until after both Night Terrors and then the Gotham War for Ram V to pick.
Oh no, I'm
back
talking
up.
about the backup.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I think the backup is just to slip shit in. It's just little fluff, but it's just there, and it's a way to tie them to the Al Ghuls.
Okay. Well, did you guys have any other thoughts there, or should we just give the scores for the backup?
Oh no, I gave my whole score is 8.25 for that too.
Okay.
I gave 8.5 for the first part, and then 8 for the second, so 8.25 altogether.
Yeah, I still have to get in the habit of scoring separately, but I still 8.5 for all around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just ended up giving whole book an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's just all. I
bad.
As for your theory though, Josh, I see where you're coming from, but it doesn't look like this book is going to have anything to do with Gotham War. It's just.
I think it's definitely. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, it's got to be. The Oregon Place just blew up in the middle of Gotham.
Yeah.
Loads, thousands of people have died, and then we've got Night Terrors happening for 2 fucking months, and then
we still got one more issue of this, don't we? Yeah.
Oh, I thought
before
not,
Night
okay.
Terrors. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I think.
All right.
Let me double check
Wrap up.
that. I think 1073 comes up before Night Terrors.
Well, I would still say that one issue isn't enough for a third act.
I mean, that's the thing. Issue. Like, if you figure next issue could be. Oh no! This is Act 2, the fall / things must die, Part 1.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, so then
the next issue could be Part 2,
this would be,
and that could be the end of it.
Yeah,
this is the 4th part of Act 2 because the previous was a 3.
Oh, then it is done next issue.
So it was Act 2.
See,
1069 to 1071 was also Act 2, but it was a 3-part story.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is also Act 2, 3-part story. And it comes out in June 1073.
Right,
Yeah, end of June. And that's all we've got so far. So we don't know what's going to happen post Night Terrors, but I imagine Act 3. We'll see.
I don't know. I think it's probably going to wrap up next issue.
Yeah.
Yep. Now that you told me that, I think it's probably going to wrap up next issue. I doubt there's going to be an Act 3 at all.
We'll see. We'll see.
I don't have any powers. I can't determine that.
Yet.
Not psychic.
Yet.
Not psychic. No powers.
Yet. I always put a yet because you never know.
I'm gonna I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try it one more time. I'm gonna throw a little extra on there. I'm not psychic, no powers, girl.
Nice.
I've been trying. This is the fourth time. Let's go for it. Did he pick it up?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Oh
Next,
God.
next step was getting a shovel.
I did not catch what you were laying down. All right. Yeah, we're going into our next issue. Power Girl special number 1. Oh God. I I'm tired. It's been a long day. All right, so this was written by Leah Williams, art for Marguerite Sauvage, colors for Marguerite Sauvage and Marissa Louise, and letters from Becca Carey. So simply put, we pick up where the Action Comics backups left off. Johnny Sorrow has Paige trapped in a dream world, but she is able to snap out of it by punching her way through an invisible barrier. Because she's Power Girl. Why the hell not? That's awesome. She takes the fight directly to Sorrow, but
astral punching.
Astral punch, yes.
Astral punch.
She takes the fight directly to Sorrow, but he is, of course, a more formidable foe than she thought he'd be, as he becomes intangible and teleports away while mentioning his 4 horsemen are across the country. 1 to raise people's fear, 1 to raise their rage, 1 to raise their lust, and 1 that makes people endlessly dance with her song. It's a interesting last one, but yeah, no, it works out. Between the 5 villains, Metropolis and 4 corners of the USA are in big trouble. Paige tries to call in reinforcements, but nobody is available or is answering. So she flies to the Kent apartment to find Connor alone and under the effects of Johnny Sorrow's abilities, passed out cold. Then over to Kara's place to find her much the same, except Streaky, the super cat, is awake and a little violent. After subduing the Kryptonian kitty in a very violent fashion, she finds something Kara was writing down when she passed out, which ends up actually being a diary that details how Kara feels about Paige. Paige should be closer to the family than she allows, and that she is actually loved despite what she might believe. Paige chooses to ignore it with a rage and crashing the book directly into the wall, shoving it right into the drywall. Kara's got some, repairs to do now, and moves on to the city to find a bunch of Sorrow minions ready to fight as Johnny Sorrow arrives too. He reveals that he was tuned into her pain of being alone and how it mirrors his, and that is why he's doing what he's doing now, to get close to her and make a world that they can be alone together. Just then, Omen arrives and snaps them back into reality. As the music horseman arrives and traps Omen in a dance, Paige tries to save her, but fails and instead punches Sorrow away and escapes to regroup. Back at her own apartment, she falls into another dream world where she sees her version of Kal-El from Earth 2, but he's not really there because he's dead. Using his, wow, I wrote that down weird. Using his push, he pushes her to be able to punch her way out using her astral punching ability, which I didn't mention is a side effect of her new psychic abilities, to break down her mental blocks, both literally and metaphorically. And with this new ability to punch the metaphorical, she takes out the horseman and heads straight for Sorrow, making quick work of him this time. The super family arrive just in time to arrive together to embrace her as part of the family and push her to accept them as well as herself, which she does, with an acknowledgement that, I'm gonna fuck up sometimes, but I hope you can accept me anyway. And they do, including Streaky, who has chosen to stay with her instead of Kara now. And in the end, Paige believed her new ability had gone away, but after a quick test, finds she can still punch holes into the astral world. So that feels like a to be continued. Damn beautiful issue.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, really good to look at. I really enjoyed this story. This whole thing with new name Paige and Ullman between the backups and this was really interesting. And it's odd that as much as it's fresh for Power Girl and interesting. It also reminds me of so many other things. Like this new astral punching ability reminds me so much of um oh, what's her name over in Marvel? Miss America?
America Chavez.
America Chavez, yeah.
See, I don't know enough about that to be able to
She
know, but
punches holes in reality to jump into different universes. And this feels a little bit like that, even though it's she's punching her way. Paige is punching her way into the astral plane, whereas America Chavez is punching her way into another universe. But it's very reminiscent, I'll say, of that. Yeah, that's all I had about that. Really, it just felt like that. But I'm still really enjoying it. I can't wait to see more. I hope we get more from this team on these characters because even having Omen around was a really nice addition, if you will.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It really worked out for the two to work together and become such good friends. And now Streaky the Super Cat's around. Like that's freaking cool. I want to see I want to see some super pets. That I love it. Where's Bat
nothing
Cat?
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. As a matter of
Exactly.
fact, that even you know what, having Streaky show up is even further differentiating her from Supergirl. The Supergirl was the last one that had crypto, right?
I mean, technically,
Who's got crypto now?
I think he's back with the Kents.
Yeah, because Supergirl had the cat. Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Well, never mind. Anyway,
Yeah.
that doesn't check out anymore.
Crypto kind of he's like the family dog. He's with everyone.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Like fucking attention whore just goes to whoever will give them scratches.
Supergirl has Comet, the horse. Power Girl now
Yes.
has Streaky, the super cat. So I'm wondering if maybe Connor or Keenan is going to get Beppo, the super monkey. 'Cause you gotta have
Ooh.
Beppo, the super monkey.
Yeah.
If we're gonna have
What
a whole
does John
super
have?
thing, I don't know. John
Nothing.
has something.
Right. They could take the monkey to the farmhouse.
John has trauma. That's what he has.
John has trauma. Well, he needs an emotional support monkey.
Exactly. It's just like Ross from Friends.
What's his name? Marcel?
Marcel, yeah.
No, Beppo. That's much better. That's much better.
Beppo, get off the TV. Yeah.
Out of all the
Damn,
super
I just
pets,
like that
out of
idea
all
now.
of the super pets, out of all the bat pets and super pets that there are, guys,
Mhm.
which one would you be? Or not which one would you be? Which one would you want? Jesus.
If I could be any,
All of
it'd
a
be
sudden,
Throg.
I'm a BuzzFeed quiz. No, like if you got to have one, which bat pet or super pet would you want?
I've always wanted a pet monkey, so I'm kind of partial to Bippo.
Nice.
But I might honestly pick Streaky because I love cats.
It's fair.
What about you, Brandon?
Streaky.
I'm ashamed of you, Rob.
I mean, as fun as it would be to have a pet monkey, especially one that could fly, I gotta say, I gotta go with Comet the Super Horse because how awesome would it be to have a flying horse?
Yeah, really.
Kryptonian horse.
Yeah, but he turns into a dude sometimes, though, right? What if he's not a cool dude? What if the horse is awesome, but the guy's a dick?
Well, then he can just go away until the horse comes back.
All right, yeah. So his
Werewolves?
solution is I will just banish his ass.
I love
Phantom
that.
zone for you. Oh man, you know what? So I have two answers for this. first is the answer that I will give out in front of everyone, and that is Ace, Bat Hound. I would have him in a heartbeat. Great dog. I'm a big lover of large dogs. But if my wife is nearby, I have to say Bat Cow.
Oh God, yeah, Bad Cow's amazing.
Have to say Bat Cow. Not allowed to say anything else, as a matter of fact.
If I was picking Bat, I know all those super pets were involved, but like if I was picking a Bat dog, I might pick Titus over Ace. Ace is cool, but Titus is just so badass.
Titus is badass, but Ace is OG.
Yeah. Oh no! What am I doing? No, he counts. Fuck it, Goliath. Re-young motherfuckers.
I guess. A bit of a stretch, but I guess.
How could we forget him? I know it's not really a pet, but at the same time, they're calling him a dragon. I'm gonna take it.
Take it.
Yeah, I will. Goliath. Fuck it. God damn. Yeah. Now I want to go read that Robin series again.
Well, why not?
Yeah. Year of Blood. So freaking cool. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about the main story. That like it was a simple story. It was long, but it was simple. It was a lot of back and forth. Like, okay, let's go fight these guys. Okay, we're losing. Let's go regroup and then come back and fight later when we power up, basically.
I mean, okay, so it was like
I still really enjoyed it, but yeah, it was simple to the point.
The weirdest four horsemen to ever exist.
Yeah, but this is Johnny Sorrow's Four Horsemen. Like, yeah. I'm not surprised.
It's
yeah.
It was, but I mean, so okay, so I'm bummed out that she lost the psychic abilities.
Supposedly.
That's what it seems. Yeah.
But then she's still able to punch her way into the astral realm. So who knows?
Which, you're right. Okay, so I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed reading it start to finish. I enjoyed the art start to finish, but then I started to think about it, right? Okay, so she lost her psychic abilities, but she still has this astral punch thing. But the astral punch thing is just kind of really ill-defined, because up until this point, we've really seen her just punch her way into subconscious and then back into the subtle realms. So I'm not sure what her kind of. She's also used the astral punch as a regular punch. So, I mean, I'm not sure what the astral punch is supposed to be. And I wish that it was more spelled out. I think that was a bad decision. They're going to wait, and later on somebody can say, oh, no, wait, she had psychic powers all along.
Yeah.
I really dug the idea of what they were doing with her and Omen, with the whole superhero counseling thing. And there's no reason why that couldn't have been a kick-ass backup in the back of one of the backups of Superman in one of his many titles, or in the back of Wonder Woman. I mean, there's a billion Batman titles that you could have put it in the backup as. That it would have fit just fine in any of them, considering the two characters that were involved. So I guess I'm bummed to see that. As far as the backup goes,
I don't know. Like, Brandon, do you have any thoughts on the main story first?
Well, I really like the main story. I mean, I'm just glad they're giving Powergirl, a nice little spotlight. And even if she does kind of lose her psychic powers, her ability or connection to the astral realm is still there, and I'm sure that'll be explored in the upcoming series as well. So I think there's just a
I
lot of
wasn't
potential
aware
there.
she had an upcoming series.
Yes, yeah, no, so that'll be out in the fall, I think.
Yay.
Yeah, so I don't know, like I just had a fun time with it. I'm glad that she's finally kind of pushing past her own kind of stubbornness and is willing to connect with the super family, and I'm hoping they kind of stick with that for a while. So I think there's a lot of good stuff here, and really dug the art as well. So it's just like a solid story, good stuff to set up for Power Girl, or good way to set up stuff for Power Girl. So I gave this one an 8.5 out of 10, at least the main story anyway.
Right on.
Right on.
All right. So yeah, in the backup, it stars Fire and Ice, Tora Olafsdottir and Beatriz da Costa from Justice League International. I haven't seen them in a while. So this is written by Joanne Sterer with art from Natasha Bustos. I think I spelled that right. Colors from Tamara Bonvillain and letters from Ariana Maher. Simply put, Fire and Ice are working on a rescue mission in Baltimore, the hometown of Guy Gardner. Which I didn't think that was right, but it might be. When Ice secretly calls Guy Gardner for assistance, much to the disappointment of Fire. Fire and Guy have a fight in response to that, which puts Ice in danger, and after Fire saves her, they just go straight back to fighting even harder until Superman arrives and Guy takes off. Supes realizes Fire and Ice need some time away from heroing to heal their own friendship and stress levels, so he recommends a quiet place to stay and have some homemade pie, the Kent Farm. And that is coming up later on, I think, in their own little mini series, if I remember right. Very simple story.
Nice.
I liked it. Really nice to look at. Been a long time since I've seen Fire and Ice. It's been so long. I don't remember if their personalities are reflective of their powers, because it really felt that way here. Beatrice DaCosta was very hot tempered, and
Yeah. It's
and
always
Tora,
been that. It's
it
cool
has
and
always been
calm.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far
Yeah,
as I can remember.
I couldn't remember, to be honest with you, because like I said, it's been so long since we've seen them together, and I haven't read any of their old stories in ages. So it's really cool to see that still happening. My only thing is the representation of Guy Gardner. That's the thing about Guy, is he is definitely an asshole, but his relationship with Tora never really seemed the way that this version is being shown, where it's almost dependent, and like he's almost manipulating her into seeing him as the savior and like needing him. But I always felt like I've never seen that before.
The problem with Guy, and I wonder how you guys feel about this, but the problem with Guy is he's a very similar problem to Damian, which is that in his initial appearances, at least with Guy, and I say initial appearances, I'm really focusing more on kind of like his portrayal in JLI and sort of the lighter part of the Englehart Green Lantern run. But with Guy, he kind of just became like the Lantern with an attitude. He's like, the guy who has a chip on his shoulder. He's always kind of an asshole. And I think with certain writers who perhaps aren't as familiar with Guy's continuity, their first impression is like, I'm just going to write Guy as like the kind of douchey, controlling Lantern. And it's the same thing with Damian, where Damian has been through a lot of character progression, but you'll have, a writer come in and write like a scene with him and he's a total douche. So it's a little weird where you'll read something like this and you're like, why does Guy sound like he's from 30 years ago and he just joined, the Justice League for the first time and he has a huge chip on his shoulder and something to prove? I think it's just because, some people are just like, I know Guy. He is the guy who's always with a comment and is always going to be like in your face and yada, yada, yada. And that's all I know. And I think it's just like, I think it's just kind of a problem when you have characters who are that aggressive that you're always going to have those people who just approach them in that one way, as opposed to Guy, who I think has become a lot more multifaceted, especially with the different runs of Green Lantern that we've had over the years.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's probably why. We just had someone who's just like, I want to have a scene with Guy Gardner. But, all I really know is like, he's like the kind of jerky guy and he wants Tora and he's going to be controlling of her, and I'm just going to write that scene out as I have it in my head.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, the guy that I have read has been that guy, which very well could be the reason why he's like my least favorite Lantern.
But
I
with
haven't
Tora though?
No, just him being a total douchebag and
Oh,
like
yeah, that's just it though. Like he is that asshole to a certain level, but whenever I see his relationship with Ice pop up, she's the catalyst that calms him down. She
Yeah.
brings the cool out of him, and he's never that asshole around her or to her.
but
To
have they
everybody
had a
else,
relationship at this point in this timeline?
oh yeah,
Yeah, they should, because
yeah,
they've
they're on
mentioned.
and off all the time.
Actually,
Oh,
you
they
know
did
they
mention
have
that they're
to.
on and off
They-
all the time.
Yeah, you know they have to, because in, what was it, last week's Doom Patrol #3, they talked about when Guy was in the Justice League International, and they
Yeah.
were in
That's-
France after the painting that ate Paris.
Well, well, then there's no defending that unless he's just moved on.
I hope not, because that's one aspect of Guy that I appreciate, is that he is that rough, rowdy, in your face attitude Lantern that will always have your back if he truly respects you, but he's always going to be first up the bat to take on the baddie. But when it comes to Tora, he is a sweetheart at like first glance. Like he cares for her, and he's never going to treat her wrong
Yes, baby.
to a certain
Anything you
degree.
say, baby.
Apart from like staying in space for 2 years, not calling.
All right, so we got Guy Gardner, we got Fire, we got Ice. And I feel like there's been we can always Booster Gold and Ted Cord can be brought back at any time and no one will fucking ask any questions. They're just those characters. I feel like we've seen some other JLI characters recently in other books, and I'm failing to be able to remember who they are, but I feel like we've seen some recently, haven't we?
Well, Mr. Miracle and Barda were on that team, but we haven't really seen them in main continuity much recently. And I think Oberon was also technically on that team as well.
Yeah, just as kind of Scott's mentor sponsor. He's always just around usually.
Yeah. And then you had Batman and Martian Manhunter. I think that Black Canary.
We've also seen some other.
Captain Marvel was on the team initially, but I think he quit after issue 6 because it's just like, I can't. It's too much.
I couldn't remember if he was actually or not. I was thinking of that Guy Gardner face punch issue, and he was there.
He was there.
With the Titans taking over for the Justice League and the former Justice League taking on more cosmic things, would it be out of the realm of possibilities that we're going to see the JLI brought back together? Maybe not that exact team, but a different incarnation of it. Guy, Fire, Ice. We could have Booster and Ted. We could have Alan Scott's kids came back in Infinite Frontier, and we have not seen shit done with either one of them since then. I mean, there's definitely some heroes out there that could fit the mold for a JLI team.
That'd be interesting. Like maybe that's what the fabled Return of the Justice League is going to be. It's going to be
maybe
the
that's
JLI.
What Tim Drake needs,
or maybe that's what Damian needs.
Oh, you think Damian's ready to lead a Justice League International?
I think he will try, and nobody's going to let him. But I don't think Tim is going to be running off to join a Justice League, especially if Dick is running Titans. But I could see Damian be like, I need a team. I want to run a team, and I don't think the Titans are ready or whatever. And then he's going to go out and be JLI. He's going to see all these heroes come together. You're like, okay, I'm here. I know I made him sound like that Dick, that he's already gone through that character progression, but he's still got some growing to do. So I think he's got just enough ego left to come up and just be like, okay, no, I'm your leader now.
Possibly.
But no, that could be it. I'm down for that. That'd be awesome.
I'm down for anything that would get Tim Drake away from Megan Fitzgerald.
Yeah, well, that's almost done anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see him come back in 6 years.
No. He needs to keep going. He needs to come back.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. I don't know. That's an interesting theory, though. I think, yeah, maybe a JLI could be popping up again. Obviously, an augmented team. I don't imagine Guy would be on the team because of what is going on with Green Lantern, what Jeremy Adams is writing with Green Lantern. Earth is quarantined. Because they even made that notes in this backup that Guy Gardner's here, and this takes place prior to Green Lantern #1.
Yep. Yeah, so he's not going to be around anymore. And I guess does that mean that at least that means at least that part of Doom Patrol took place before Green Lantern #1.
I mean, yeah, Green Lantern #1's happening now.
Yeah.
So pretty much everything's happened before it.
I wonder Kyle's back. Yay. What the hell is he up to though?
Nothing.
You know what Kyle's up to right now? Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, damn straight he is. Let's talk about Fire and Ice a bit though. So this story, the way it ended, it was going towards the simple life for Fire and Ice, which I think is a very interesting turn of events. I don't think we've had something like this before, at least that I can think of in a comic. And I'm very curious to see what's going to happen, because you have Beatrice just not really interested in this at all. And Tora was like, yeah, I want some pie. Martha can't pie. That sounds great. And Beatrice is like, no, I'm leaving as soon as I can. So what the hell's going to happen? Is this going to be Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie, or is this going to be more interesting? I think more interesting.
Well, yeah, they're going to be introduced to John in a major way. I mean, I don't really. Am I mistaken? Have those three never crossed paths before? They weren't a part of his. They weren't a part of his makeshift Justice League.
No,
were they?
I don't think so.
Well, this could get pretty interesting then, as long as it's kept up in other titles.
Yeah.
Even if not as, not a main story, but just, there.
Mm-hmm.
Should be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. I think it'd be good.
Maybe they'll end up on a team with John somewhere.
Maybe he's the catalyst for JLI. I don't know.
Maybe he is.
Yeah. So many questions for the future, but I like the direction everything's taking. All in all, this issue, I gave an 8.75 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. I like this new direction for Powergirl and Fire and Ice. Really cool to see all these characters coming back. Yeah. Looking forward to where they go from here.
Absolutely. Now it's kind of weird to have an end of the show. So I guess we're just gonna skip all the rest. We don't even have 3 books to rate.
Not really.
And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but there were some things that we didn't like. There were some things that we could nitpick about, but all in all, I mean, both of the books were pretty good today. And I expect that out of a detective issue. This Powergirl special was a real nice surprise that it was going to be that many pages and such a good story. Even if I didn't like quite how it ended, it was done really well, and it was beautiful to look at.
Yeah, no,
with
definitely
the 4 horsemen, excite, frighten, entice, and enliven. Or I guess the pit, the pendulum, the poet, and the piper. But
Yeah, if you want to be technical and use their names, I guess.
Right. Oh boy.
Which I probably should have.
Quite. It's. I think we'll live.
Yeah. Do you at least I have a favorite moment?
Um, it was the art wise, the page where they were in Powergirl actually, where they did the picture of all four of the horsemen. It was just done really well. All of them had a very distinct, different look to them. Similar in art style, but slightly different, and all their actual designs were definitely distinct. Made sense, and I thought that art was pretty cool. So that would probably have been my favorite moment out of this week.
Right on. Yeah, for me, I think it was Streaky and Paige having that little fight. That was really cool. That was funny. Especially when Paige threw Streaky through the wall and just like, oh no, did I kill it? And then Streaky just comes out with heat vision, like, oh shit.
Yeah, and then at the end of it, she's like, "I'm yours. This bitch is fun."
Yeah.
The thing. Next day, super fam all being at her apartment. Everybody's a big old super fam once and for all. That's my favorite moment. Fuck the art. It's about time that. It's about time that Paige, the power girl, gets her piece of the super fam action, and that I changed my mind. That's my favorite moment.
Right on. All right, Brandon, you got one?
I'm actually stepping away from Power Girl and heading over to Detective Comics for just this gorgeous sequence by Ivan Reis. It's like right before he takes on Gael and the other one, and it's just like this page where he throws a batarang, it hits, I think, Gael, and then he just drops from the shadows, and it's like him all enveloped by cape, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that was my
cool.
pick of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really cool moment.
Guys, you're familiar with that Jacques print, right? I'm sorry not to take away from your favorite moment because that is gorgeous, but it just reminded me of that Jacques print that's been around for a while, and it's usually like a few $100s, right? The black and white Batman, the zoom in of his face.
Usually,
Big Bad Toy Store has it for $60 right now.
Oh damn!
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I had to remind you guys of that before I forgot. That shit's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
You're really on the collecting bug now.
This is all your guys' fault.
Don't blame Brandon. It's not Brandon's fault.
No. Hold on. Brandon is guilty by extension. Just because he received a gift from you and I saw the elation in his eyes. Had Brandon opened that up with the face of a stone cold killer and no appreciation, I may not have sucked in. But now I'm building my own dioramas.
Lost your mind if someone just unasked sent you a copy, not even of Essex County signed, but signed with your fucking name and a sketch. Like, I'm still in shock and awe over that. And I'm trying to find the right way to pay that back. I know you don't want it, but
you don't need
my inner Canadian is telling me that I gotta find the perfect thing. So I'm waiting for the right opportunity.
It was my gift to you for putting me on the trail of a creator signing with Jeff Lemire in the first place. That was me thanking you.
See, if I was still in LA, I probably would have been able to go to that Jeff Johns, Jeremy Adams signing, and I would have mailed you a Blackest Night copy like yesterday. But unfortunately, that'd be hard. I'm hoping he comes to New York Comic Con, because if he does, then you know what's about to happen.
Oh man, I'd scream. That'd be amazing. That's one Jeff Johns book I only have one copy of. So I need to match my 3 copies of Green Lantern Rebirth.
Whoops.
That's what happens when you forget what you bought in the past.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm probably spoiling this, but like if I was ever going to get Rob a surprise gift and just have him open it, I'm straight up. I've thought about like this. I've thought about this. So just know at sometime in the future, it's going to happen. You're going to open up a fucking box and it's going to be a statue of Captain Canuck.
Holy shit.
If I can't find a statue, it's going to be an action figure.
I think one exists, but I think it's like one of the old 90s version action figures from Mattel. It's really cool. Like those reaction figures. I think there's a Captain Canuck of that. I think that's like the only Captain Canuck figure that exists, though. It's interesting. Well, that reminds me, I gotta actually read Captain Canuck because I have a couple of volumes. I haven't gotten into the other recent stuff. It's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, you should look into those because I think there's like a couple issues of Captain Cuck. Oh my God, Captain Canuck.
Captain Cuck.
Captain Cuck.
Hey, now this is podcast, not porno.
Yeah, I'm spending too much time on the internet. Captain Canuck. Because I think there's a couple that missed actually, like really early in his career. So you never know. You might have some.
Like the original series you're talking about that my dad would have.
No, I think the newer issues, like the newer series or something.
Oh yeah, my dad had volume 1 that he got a few years ago at a con that I've inherited, and I bought volume 4 last year at a con in London, Ontario. Because volume 4 was written by, oh my God, I'm blanking on the bloody name. It always happens.
It's someone we probably know, like Jim Zub or something.
It's an actor, actually.
Oh.
God damn! Why can't I remember?
Oh wait, was it the one you said was written by like Jay Baruchel or something?
Yeah, it's Jay Baruchel.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It's really weird, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
That's that run. It's divided into seasons, and the seasons are a different period of time. So season 1 is like in the past, and season 4 is like in the future, and it just travels through time, different versions of Captain Canuck. It looks really freaking cool.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the Ed Brisson one is called All New Classic Captain Canuck, whatever that means. So
okay.
You have those. Yeah, just like me forgetting that Jay Baruchel is even Canadian. That's why I think I was so surprised at first. I was like, what the fuck? So
yeah. He's proudly Canadian. Like he's out there Canadian.
He's out there. He's out there.
Yeah, no, I gotta get onto my Captain Canuck.
Yeah, come on. What kind of Canadian are you? You're not reading your Captain Canuck. I'm reading Captain America.
I was gonna say, are you reading Captain America?
I'm reading Captain America. As a true American, you should be reading Captain Canuck. I'm just saying.
Josh, are you reading Captain America?
Am I reading Captain America?
Yeah.
No. No. Strangely enough, honestly, I've never really been a Captain America fan. Out of all of the captains, honestly, other than Shazam, if we technical him out of it, the only captain I've ever really enjoyed was back when I read Excalibur.
Oh, Captain Britain,
and both when Betsy Braddock was Captain Britain at the same time.
Yeah,
too. Both of those iterations I enjoyed, but I've never really gotten into Captain America.
Fair enough.
Other than his time as U.S. agent, that shit was cool. Like the first time when I first read that, I loved it.
Yeah.
I think it says something about your Americanness that your favorite run of Captain America is when he rejected the flag.
Hurrah!
Just saying.
James Dean, man. He's a rebel. He never ever does any good.
Doesn't have a cause. Oh fuck!
Plenty of
If
causes.
we're saying favorite captains, like I gotta say Captain Planet.
Okay, man, he's our
Nah,
hero.
nah. No, Captain Carrot though. Captain Carrot's my favorite captain easily.
Oh yeah, for sure, without a
Yeah.
doubt. I think everybody knows that by now.
Hey, do you have a favorite captain, Brandon?
I mean, I love
Captain
Captain
Cisco?
America.
Oh
Like, well, I mean, honestly, well, unfortunately, as much as I would love to call him Captain Cisco, he was
yeah.
never, I think, technically a captain.
He
We only
is
got him to the rank of
now
commander. He is now?
in
Oh,
the
is that in the comic?
comics.
Oh
Yeah, the
shit.
new comic.
I have not I've not started on that. I really wanted to. I think I read the
Oh
first
shit.
issue and then I was kind of like, I was like, maybe I'll just wait for the rest of the story. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was always the thing that they were like on the edge with, like, oh, he's a commander and he basically has the privileges of a captain and would go out on missions in the later seasons, but he's not
Yeah.
really a captain. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
All right.
no, I like Captain America genuinely. Like I've just always been a fan of that character. I think Ed Brubaker's run was the one that really kind of properly cemented it for me. But going back and revisiting some of the old stuff is pretty good too. There's a really surprisingly good run from Jack Kirby in like the mid '70s. A lot of weird shit, but yeah, no, I like Captain America. I guess I'm just a good patriot. I love my country.
Hey, he wouldn't work for his government. He said, no, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Of course.
Superheroes shouldn't be weaponized. I mean, I think that goes above beyond. But speaking of superheroes being weaponized, Rob, there's something
Really weird transition.
There's something I realized that just sitting here thinking, you know what has never been done, and I think you could find a way to write a decent, fun, at least 3 issues, probably 3 issue story out of.
I thought you say me, but you sound like you have the story planned out.
No, I don't have the story planned out. It like literally just popped into my head though. I need to hear a story written. I need to read a story written by you of Green Lantern, Captain Carrot. He
Kyle
comes
Rayner.
he comes to this earth somehow and is given the power of a ring, or probably Kyle Rayner goes there. That would be
I think it'd be better if Kyle Rayner ends up on Earth 26 and being a cartoonist, he's just taken aback by this cartoon world, meets Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew, and just his mind goes wild with the possibilities. Like all these creations. Okay, shit. Okay, I'm writing it down.
I was like, hold on. There's shit there. There's shit there, dude. All right, so Kyle is there in Earth 22. And since his mind is so imaginative and creative, and he's in the world of artistry of cartoon, his ring's power has become amplified, and the things that he attempts to make constructs out of become actual real things in that world.
I would almost go the opposite.
He could make Captain Carrot a lantern ring.
The thing with copying the ring is a feature as it is, but I would almost do the opposite, where because everything is already cartoony and his whole shtick is being a cartoonist and an artist, so every construct he makes is just automatically defeated by the villains of this cartoon world, because cartoon laws and logic apply, and fighting a cartoon thing is just a piece of cake for a cartoon villain. So that
the rabbit theory.
So that forces him to have to think broader and raises his own thoughts to a new level and increases his ability as a Green Lantern, where he now has to think outside of his own box. How can he fight in a cartoon world where he always thinks in cartoons?
Now you just made it 6 issues. What do you think, Brandon? Would you read it?
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
Well, sure.
I think it needs to happen.
All right. Get on the horn to Jeremy Adams.
Exactly.
All right, folks. I think we've been talking enough. As my
For 2
water is
books.
telling me. Yeah. It was fun though. Fun talking about these 2 books because we had a lot more time to talk about them.
Yep,
So
talk about other
yeah.
bullshit too.
Yeah, of course. That's where the fun is. But for now, we'll call it. That's our show. So if you feel like supporting us, please do check out our Discord server. You can get access to that for only $2.99 a month. Visit our website, notarobotpodcast.com, for links to that, our Twitter, our Instagram, other shows, and more. And subscribe to our Substack for bonus reviews. And as always, there's only one way we say goodbye around here. Until next time,
Be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.
Shut up.